The Marvel Cinematic Universe broke all kinds of box office records through a slew of major motion pictures that introduced superhero characters in their own individual movies before bringing them all together on the big screen for epic adventures against a common foe, or, sometimes, one another. Meanwhile, on the small screen that is television, The Walking Dead has gone and done the exact opposite. The groundbreaking and record-breaking AMC series started with a main group of zombie-killing heroes and anti-heroes that it has since spun off and split off into numerous other series. The transition began with spin-offs like Fear the Walking Dead, which imported 3 different characters from TWD, The Walking Dead, World Beyond, which brought over Pollyanna McIntosh's Jotties, and the anthology series Tales of the Walking Dead, which provided backstory on Samantha Morton's Alpha. But the splintering went into overdrive when the Walking Dead series closed up shop after 11 seasons in 2022, with several characters heading over to new shows. Lauren Cohan's Maggie and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Negan ended up batting zombies in Manhattan on Dead City, while Norman Reedus' Daryl and Melissa McBride's Carol went international on Daryl Dixon. And now comes the most highly anticipated spin-off yet, with Andrew Lincoln and Denai Gurira making their long-awaited returns to the franchise as Rick and Michonne on The Ones Who Live, premiering February 25th on AMC. But what if many viewers have not been keeping tabs on all the various shows leading up to this one? Won't they be a bit lost as to what has been going on? Not an issue, says Walking Dead Chief Content Officer and Ones Who Live executive producer Scott M. Gimple. With all of the Walking Dead universe shows, we try not to make them absolutely necessary viewing to understand what is going on, explains Gimple. You don't have to watch any of them to know what's going on with the other one. Not only do you not need to be caught up with what is happening on all the other recent spin-offs, says Gimple, but he also claims that you don't even have to watch The Walking Dead for this show. Perhaps, even if that would seem to be a highly questionable move to start your Rick and Michonne journey this far in. However, if there is one series viewers might want to watch to gain as much backstory info as possible before taking on The Ones Who Live, it is probably The Walking Dead, World Beyond. World Beyond spent 2 seasons taking viewers inside the inner workings of the Civic Republic military, the very entity now holding Rick Grimes against his will. In fact, World Beyond was originally intended to be released after Andrew Lincoln made his initial return in what at one point was planned to be a Rick Grimes movie. World Beyond was supposed to come out after the Rick story started, Gimple reveals. And it was like a cool little peek into a corner of it. But even so, Gimple argues that World Beyond is not required viewing. I think it's absolutely a fun bit of context, but there's no necessity to it. It's a very different story. It's a younger story. And while characters from World Beyond like Hal Crumpston Silas, who was working for Jotties at the end of that series, would seem like naturals to cross over on The Ones Who Live, that does not appear likely to happen. I think that's probably the expected thing, teases Gimple. And I think it's more unexpected than that, who we may or may not see. While the exec producer says you need no prior franchise knowledge to enjoy the new series, he does note that there are absolutely references to the other shows and things going on in the universe, well beyond World Beyond. They all live under the same sky. Speaking of that same sky, will it ever be occupied by stars from all the different spin-offs ever again? Will the franchise ever reunite all its heroes Avengers style on screen? It is my fervent hope to do that, says Gimple. While that sounds like good news, there is a pretty significant catch. We don't have the imminent plan right now, the chief content officer admits. That foundation has been laid and I really would like to, but it depends on so many factors coming together. So I really hope to, and in my mind I'm planning for it, but along the way you can't count on anything. The fact that the main architect of the Walking Dead universe wants it to happen is good news, at least. As is past history. You have the best laid plans, and either God laughs or he high-fives you, notes Gimple. And so the answer is, I really hope to, and stuff I've hoped for has happened before.